You know, Portland has a reputation for being pretty eco-friendly as a city, at least compared to a lot of other big American cities. That's why we were surprised to learn that a Portland racetrack is still using leaded gas. Leaded gas! I didn't even know that existed anymore. But it sure does. And when the race cars burn it, it sends lead up into the air, both in the park and into the surrounding neighborhood in North Portland. We're talking about Portland International Raceway. It's technically a Portland park and under the control of the Portland Parks and Recreation Bureau. They let drivers use leaded gasoline on some race nights. The concern is that the lead goes into the air and into the homes of people who live nearby. The British newspaper The Guardian just published a big investigation on it. Their article is worth your time. It came after researchers from Indiana University and Cornell University published a study showing that cumulative lead exposure from leaded gas at racetracks has an impact on kids. They found that a third grader living within 2 miles of a racetrack could experience more than 6 percentage points decline in their standardized test scores because of the lead in the air. So, The Guardian took a look at leaded gasoline being used at PIR. As you might expect, they use a lot. They found that leaded gasoline is used in about 40% of the races there. Over the past 5 years, the fuel vendor at the track has sold anywhere from 1,300 to 3,000 gallons of leaded gasoline a year. For context, that's actually not unique when you look at racetracks across the country. Even though leaded gas was banned by the Environmental Protection Agency back in the 90s, it is still allowed in off-road vehicles like race cars. But what makes PIR unique is its proximity to the city. Most racetracks across the country are located pretty far out of town. That way residents don't have to deal with the noise and the emissions. But here, PIR is tucked right into North Portland with thousands of homes, along with schools, daycares, and parks, all within a 2-mile radius. We talked with one of the reporters of the story, Emma Pattee. She's based in Portland and grew up in the Kenton neighborhood. Here's what happened when she and her partner on the story showed the researchers where PIR is located.
The researchers from Cornell in Indiana, they were doing this research. They had never heard of PIR. They were doing this research looking at all racetracks in the country. And when my co-writer, Stuart, reached out to them about PIR, and when we shared with them the data of how much leaded gas PIR was using, they were pretty surprised. They were pretty taken aback. And we asked one of them, if you lived in one of the houses a couple blocks away, we picked a house at random. If you lived in this house a couple blocks away from the racetrack, how worried would you be? And the researcher kind of took a pause and then said, oh, I would move. And for me, that just encapsulates the urgency of this issue.
Yeah, they would move. It's an issue that the city has known about for a long time. Neighborhood associations in the area have gone before Portland City Council to try and get the leaded gasoline banned. But Pattee says that what she heard from people living in the area was that they're not a high priority for the city.
North Portland historically is a very diverse community and has also been low income and marginalized for decades. And so a lot of the people that I spoke with had this sentiment of like, not surprised. I certainly spoke with people who said, oh, this would never happen in Lake Oswego. If this racetrack were anywhere but North Portland, this would have ended years ago. So there's such a feeling of being forgotten and of being ignored.
We asked Portland Parks and Rec about the article and about leaded gasoline. They gave us the same answer they gave The Guardian. Portland Parks and Recreation's highest priority is public safety. The Bureau follows all federal, state, and local public health guidelines. We also reached out to Commissioner Dan Ryan's office. He's in charge of parks, and he's had meetings with the neighborhood associations about this very thing, leaded gas there. He did not get back to us on this issue. You can check out The Guardian's article. In fact, you should. It's called Revealed. A toxic metal is in U.S. cities' air and may be harming children's brains.